All right, so in the first test review video, we talked about how to solve like basic equations, as well as doing the literal equations, where it's like several different variables. The other kind of equation that's going to be on your test that you need to be familiar with is absolute value equations. Okay, so those are the ones that look like this, where part of the equation is in these absolute value bars. So 3x minus 9 equals 3. Remember, the idea behind this is when you're dealing with absolute values, there's two different possibilities, right? You have to account for a positive case and a negative case. So when you're dealing with these equations, first thing you have to make sure is that those absolute value bars are by themselves. So there's no other pieces in front of it, there's no other pieces behind it, which in this question, it's already ready to go. The absolute value bars are already by themselves, so it's already good to be split up, okay? So the two situations you have to account for, one of them is the positive case. And remember, for that one, you don't change a thing. Okay, you leave it as is. So 3x minus 9 equals 3. And then the other situation is you have to account for the negative case. Okay, and in that one, the only thing you change is the right-hand side. You put a negative in front of it. That's the only real change you make. And then you solve these two equations separately, and you get two different answers. Okay, so that's how these absolute value equations work, is you get two answers. Now the solving part, hopefully that's the part that's kind of simpler and you're more familiar with. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the red one first, the positive case. Let's go ahead and move that 9. It's a negative, so we'll go ahead and add it to the other side. We always move things by doing the opposite. Okay, so leftovers, we have 3x, and 9 plus 3 gives you 12. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get rid of that 3. Remember, when it's attached like that, you have to get rid of it, you have to divide. So again, hopefully the solving part is the easier part. The only thing that's really different is the splitting up into two cases situation. So 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. Okay. And again, with these questions, it's also going to be very important that you are showing your work. Right? If you just put answers down there, you can't get credit for that. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the other one. The steps are going to be the same. So let's go ahead and get rid of that 9. So we'll add 9 to the other side. 9's cancel. We get 3x. Here's the first major difference because it was a negative 3. Okay, so negative 3 plus 9, or you can reverse it, positive 9 minus 3, you get 6. And then same step, let's get rid of that 3. 3's cancel, and we get the answer of 2. Okay, so that's how you do these absolute value equations, is once those bars are alone, you split it up into two possibilities, a positive case and a negative case, and you get two separate answers. Okay, so very important for that. Okay, it's the same even when these questions get a little bit more complicated. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. So in scenarios where you have absolute values on both sides, such as absolute value of x plus 4 equals absolute value of 2x minus 7. Okay, this is the same situation. You have absolute value bars, so we're good to go ahead and split it up. All right, so one of the scenarios, we're not going to change a thing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and write it out. X plus 4 equals 2x minus 7. And then the other scenario, we're just going to change, we're going to add a negative, right? So 2x, let me go back a bit. X plus 4, okay? And because there's multiple things on the right-hand side, we do need to put a negative and then a parentheses, 2x minus 7. Okay, so that's the only difference when these get a little bit more complicated, is that you have to be a little bit careful. Okay, and again, we solve these separately, right? So in both of these, we have variables on both sides. So let's go and do the blue one first. We need to get the variables to one side. Now, it doesn't matter which one you move. You'll get the same answer either way. I always move the smaller one, so I'm going to go ahead and move this x. Okay, it's a positive x, so I'm going to subtract it. Notice I'm lining it up with the x term, right? X's go with x's. Okay, so these cancel out. We get 4. On the right side, 2x minus 1x. Right, there's always that invisible 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1, or just x. We still have minus 7. And then now we can get rid of that negative 7, because the goal is to get x by itself. It's negative, so we'll add it. So one of our answers is x is equal to 11. Okay, good. For the second one, we do have to distribute this negative, which is why we needed those parentheses. Okay, so we really have, when you distribute that negative, negative 2x, and then negative negative makes positive 7. And then we're doing the same thing. We want to get the x's to one side. Again, it does not matter which x you move. I move the smaller one. Now in this case, the negative 2 is actually smaller. So I'm going to choose to move that one. Okay, so opposite of negative 2x is positive 2x. Again, I'm lining it up with the other x term. These cancel out. We get 7. The 4 is still there. And again, the invisible 1. So 1x plus 2x gives you 3x. Okay, now we're down to a two-step equation, which hopefully we're kind of familiar with and comfortable with doing. So let's go ahead and get rid of that 4. Okay, and again, I want to stress it one more time. I'm showing my work each step along the way. All right, so 7 minus 4 gives you 3. And then we can extend this line down if we need to. Let's get rid of that 3 by dividing. Okay, and 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. So our two answers are 11 and 1. Okay, so that's what you need to be familiar with for your test on Friday, right? Making sure you guys are showing the work. Make sure you're clearly showing what's happening step by step by step. Okay, if you just put answers, you cannot get credit for that. Okay.